47 yards to make it a one-score game from Maher.
He missed that to the right.
He missed it
right.
to the right.
Sure did.
Maher's 42-yard kick, no good to the right. 40 left hash, drives the kick, wide right. Kicks away from 46. Kick hit the upright and bounced out. Hit the upright and caromed out.
Well, the kicking woes just a piece of what the Cowboys have been dealing with as of late. Welcome into a brand new edition of Special Edition. They need no introduction. Rick Gosselin, Nate Newton, I'm Lindsay Draper, subbing in for Bill Jones. We're still going to have fun today.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We are ready for it, guys. And I feel like a mid-season change when you release a kicker, bring a new one in, you expect a little bit of juice, but are you feeling the juice? And is this change really going to help the team at this point in the season, 6 and 7?
I think it will. I mean, you got to show your team that you're about winning and that you got to stay focused at all times and that missing 10 kicks is just a little bit too much. I think the move is long overdue. I understand that Jason Garrett wants to be thorough, but you waited a little too long to get rid of this one.
Yeah, I think Forbath represents hope. Because when you sent Maher out there, you felt something bad was going to happen. You sent Forbath out there 2 years ago. He scored 130 points on a Minnesota team that went 13-3 and reached the NFC title game. This guy's an 86% accurate kicker, 86 between 40 and 49, and they need somebody to hit field goals between 40 and 49.
And between 40 and 49, Brett Maher, I believe, one of 5,
yes.
Rick. And this is a part of the field, the range that the Cowboys rely on in their offense.
You know, especially if we can ever find our identity back and start running the ball, get down into that red zone. You don't never want to miss opportunity to score. And like Rick said, guys was losing hope when every time this guy ran on the field.
It's a 3-point lead. You need somebody to go out there and get the 3 points when you need them.
All right, let's check in with Kai Forbath, who joined the Cowboys earlier this week and actually started his career here in Dallas.
Definitely feel more comfortable coming in here after getting that one game in, and just, scoring points. That's what I've done for 7 years now, so, just here to be consistent and make kicks when they need me to. I'm back in California training at UCLA, so just, staying ready. I've been having workouts all year, so it's pretty high-pressured situations too, so I feel ready.
We just felt like we needed to make a change at kicker, and like we had talked about before, Brett had done a good job for us at different times during his tenure here, but we simply had missed too many makeable kicks, and Brett would be the first one to tell you that. We wish him nothing but the best, but excited to have Kai here. We know Kai from his rookie year. He was actually with us for a lot of his first year in the league, and veteran kickers, made a lot of kicks in games, so excited to have him on board.
Cowboys needing the most that they can get out of these last 3 games. A quick refresher of Brett Maher's numbers and where he was this season. I know the Cowboys love the length guys, but this is a crucial stretch coming up with the Rams. You're going to need every point to hang with those guys.
Consistency is the key. I mean, that's what the Cowboys offense got to find, the special teams. And when you start with the kicker, that's got to be almost automatic, especially between the 30 and the 49. That has to be almost automatic. Like Rick said earlier, when you get into that red zone and it's about 3 points, that can come back and hunt you. And not once, but twice, 3 times the whole season, this has came back to hunt us.
Yeah, this team is going to need touchdowns, not field goals against the Rams.
Yep. You said it, and that is a perfect tease to the rest of the show. We will talk about the Rams, how they are heating up, and how the Cowboys need to do the same, plus Stephen Jones and what he thinks about the Cowboys weekend right after this.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army. Doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today.
Hey guys, it's Nick Eatman here along with Stephen Jones, Cowboys Chief Operating Officer. And Stephen, thanks for joining us here. And it's been a long time since the Cowboys have been on the field. Yes, it's good to get that break both physically and mentally, but our 3-game losing streak, you guys are probably ready to get on the field.
Well, we are, and that is the tough thing. When you that 11 days doesn't go well for you, which we can't let that define us, then it makes for a long 10 days waiting for that next game. But we all know the only way we're going to change this narrative right now is to win a football football game. And it starts Sunday against the Rams, and they're playing well. I think they're on a 2-game winning streak now, and obviously a team that's played well in the past, and good quarterbacks, good running backs, good receivers, and a good defense. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us, but I know our guys are anxious to get back on the field.
And here's a look at the playoff picture as it stands right now here. And the Cowboys are anxious to get back on the field, but are you anxious to face any of those teams, fellas?
I tell you what, the big surprise is the San Francisco 49ers. At the beginning of the year, you could not have told me that they would be sitting at the top spot with home field advantage. Yeah, they've done a great job.
There's been some incredible stuff going on.
Yeah, what's impressed about San Francisco, this is a great defense. They've gotten where they are with great defense. Then you go to New Orleans last week and put a lot of offense up. This is a complete football team, the best team in the NFC right now.
Welcome back to Special Edition. I do think that game we saw last week is going to be probably better than the Super Bowl. You can't even top it, Niners Saints. So why don't we just get into it and tell me about these best teams of the NFC. Nate, I'll have you go first. I know you're rolling with New Orleans. Why are they so tough to beat?
Oh, man, just the coach, Sean Payton, man, he went out and got fixed his defense over the years. I mean, he kept Drew Brees, he's kept his offense exploded with Kamara and all of those guys, but he has done it with great defense, man, and that receiver right there cannot be stopped.
Yeah, you look at the elite teams in the NFC. San Francisco, defense. New Orleans, much improved defense. Vikings, defense. Packers, much improved defense. Defense has been the winning ticket here, and Cowboys have a team with very few sacks and very few takeaways.
All right, and you're going with the Niners because, yes, we just got a glimpse of both of these teams this past weekend, but so balanced and complementary when they play football.
And they run the ball. They've got 2 running backs. They've had 100-yard rushing games. They got a big offensive line, a lot of high draft picks. They got a quarterback that doesn't make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, you can go a long way in this league.
But as you saw this week here, it was a lot of scoring. But it was a good situation of defense. Both teams were balanced, and both coaches were just hot in the play calling.
Who would you like Dallas to see land that number 5 spot?
I would like to see the Minnesota Vikings, because I still believe we haven't seen the meltdown of Kirk Cousins. If we can stop Dalvin Cook and put him to a halt, slow him down, then we think that we can get Kirk Cousins. But we'll have to change our ways. We'll have to blitz a little bit. We'll have to have constant pressure on him to make him make no big-time throws.
You're counting on Kirk Cousins to, at some point, give you something, so you would hope it would be then.
Yes.
I would rather play Seattle because they've beaten Seattle in the playoffs in this building last year. And secondly, Seattle ranks 29th in the league in pass rush and sacks. They're not putting pressure on the quarterbacks. Dak is at his best when there's no pressure. We saw that first 3 weeks of the season. He was Johnny Unitas because there was no pressure. When there's pressure, he kind of speeds things up. If Seattle's not going to bring pressure, the Cowboys can beat them.
Russell Wilson still scares me, though.
Yeah, the quarterbacks. It's Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, but they beat Russell Wilson here last January.
Yep.
It's going to be all about who can control the ball. If the Seattle come in here running this ball, as well as Minnesota come in here and run the ball, our defense, when they've got to do 29 minutes or more, they through.
All right, we're taking another break here from Special Edition. When we come back, we are getting these 2 guys to tell the truth and hear more from Stephen Jones on the state of the Cowboys. They need this one Sunday desperately. Right after this.
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. The Texas Lottery proudly supports Texas education and veterans. Play the Texas Lottery today. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas.
The last couple of weeks, you've kind of turned the corner there and had come out strong with touchdowns. But then after that, it's kind of gone down. I mean, it seems like it's not one thing, it's another.
It is, and defensively, one of the things our defense is predicated on is keeping them out of the end zone, touchdowns. And if they do get a drive, let's hold them to field goals. And we hadn't been doing that on the defensive side of the ball. And then consequently with the troubles we've had with the field goal kicker and missing field goals, next thing you look up and you're down 2 scores and you start to press. And you start to press on both sides of the ball and you get away from some of the things we do real well, like run the football. And I think those are all things that, if we can control that narrative better as we move forward, we'll be in a better place.
Welcome back in. I've heard Jason Garrett say it even as well as players, guys. They're doing too much. They're trying to do too much. They're trying to be the hero and save the game, and it's costing them simple tasks out there.
You got too many veterans on the team to keep hearing that week in and week out. You hold a guy accountable as the game go on. You make adjustments as the game go on. You don't wait till a game is over to say the same speech over and over. When you see a guy make that colossal mistake, you take him out of the game. You let him sit and think about it.
What's the Bill Belichick mantra? Do your job.
Yes.
You worry about you. Don't worry about the guy to the right, the guy left, the guy behind. Just do it. If everybody does their job, that's a winning effort.
All right, guys, we are going to tell the truth now, and I need you to talk to me about the way Dak Prescott is playing. You mentioned it earlier, Rick. He started off so strong this season, and are you pinning this on the way he's playing, or the guys around him are playing as he's dropped off as this year's gone on?
Well, I think it's disappointing, the regression from the first 3 weeks when he had time and he looked like John Unitas. He's 13th in the league in passing efficiency, and he's always been an efficient passer, but the more he throws, the less I like him. He's had 6 300-yard passing games, and he's 2-4 in those games.
You got to find that happy medium. Yes, he's a better passer. Yes, he's been a little bit more accurate. But as Rick says, the pressure, as the blitzes come, you see that ball start to hit the ground a little bit more. You see him receivers got to make those certain moves and make those great catches for him. These last 2 or 3 games, he's not been consistent in what he's been throwing. And we have taken a kid that cherished the ball, and he's throwing it all over the field. But now he's becoming a high-risk guy. We got to kind of take that away from him a little bit, but through the running of Zeke.
And add injuries to both of his hands this past week. Obviously, he's going to play, but this is something to watch for, as Aaron Donald will be the one coming at you up the middle there. Tell the truth about DeMarcus Lawrence. Obviously, the Cowboys' defensive line was something we thought, hey, this might be something really strong here. Cowboys might get that pass rush going. Hasn't been that way, it seems.
Well, if you give a guy $105 million as an edge rusher, you want sacks. You don't want pressure. You don't want effort. You want Reggie White. You want Bruce Smith. You want somebody who knocks the quarterback down and knocks the ball loose. And we just haven't seen that from DeMarcus Lawrence. 5 sacks.
I don't know. Maybe he's haven't gotten his base back on him because he missed most of all the offseason. But we're into the latter part of the season. He should be rocking and rolling. These next 3 games, he should show up big. Right. That's hey, big money players show up at big times, and it is big right now.
And DeMarcus Lawrence knows that out of anyone. But he said, everyone has said in this locker room, it's time to stop talking and go out there. Talk is cheap. Time to get the job done. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we will dive into the Rams and what they bring all 3 phases of the game against the Cowboys.
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
Over the middle, Cooper. Amari Cooper inside the 5, touchdown, Dallas. Here he is, cuts back and reaches for the touchdown. Gurley, lot of room. Inside the 20, he is gone. Touchdown, Prescott. Not able to get rid of it. Throws now, has Gallup. What a catch. Big pass and a chance to make it a 2-possession game. Anderson says, Sean McVay, you made the right call. Touchdown, Rams.
The Cowboys back on their home turf on Sunday to face the Rams with hopes of ending a 3-game losing streak. Let's take a look at how the Rams have fared this season. Since starting 3-3, LA's record now at 8-5, trending upward. They've won 3 of their last 4, including back-to-back victories over Arizona and Seattle. LA revamped its secondary in the middle of this season by swapping out Aqib Talib and Marcus Peters for Jalen Ramsey. In 7 games, though, Ramsey has no picks and 1 forced fumble. LA's defense, under the direction of Wade Phillips, we all know him, ranks 4th in sacks with 43 and 8th in points allowed per game at 18.8 in the NFL. But what about the Cowboys defense against the Rams rushing attack? And gosh, I think about Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff. I mean, quarterbacks the Cowboys have faced recently. Jeff Driscoll, Josh Allen, Mitchell Trubisky. I'm just worried about the Cowboys defense in this one, guys.
You should be. Jared Goff has not committed a turnover in each of the last 2 games. They've had 5 different receivers who had 100-yard rushing games.
Wow.
And last year, when the Cowboys lost the Rams, they had 2 100-yard rushers. Todd Gurley in the last 5 or 6 games has been the Todd Gurley of old. They're going to run the ball. They're going to pass the ball. It's going to be on the Cowboys to get some pass rush.
And the only thing they ain't doing right now that they normally do is they're not throwing the ball as much to Todd Gurley. But him and Malcolm Brown is sharing the load. And these last few weeks, Rick, they have really, really been relying on Todd Gurley in that play-action pass. The quarterback is looking at the quarterback of old, man. He's throwing that ball. They got a new guy in Robert Woods. He's been there, but he's that new target, man. And he's caught a lot of balls. He's right at close to 1,000 yards. The offense is flowing. They got a kid named Reynolds that does that jet sweep, and they actually hands it off. And he's a beast, too.
Will the Cowboys' run defense be able to hang in and stop what the Rams are putting together with Sean McVay? Is there a chance on Sunday, after what you've seen in the last 3 weeks, do you expect it against the Rams?
The eighth guy has to come up. The seventh guy has to come up. The eighth guy has to come up into the box. They have to put a safety in the box. Do not go out there playing and taking chances. They have to bring the eighth man, Rick.
Yeah. In the first part of the year, they weren't giving Gurley the ball. He was getting 12 and 14 carries a game, and McVay said, we're saving him for when we need him. We need him late in the season. Last 5 weeks, he's had a couple 20-carry games, couple 19-carry games. He's going to be the focal point of this team because he had such a good game against the Cowboys last year.
When you look at the Rams defense, guys, I talked to Jason Garrett for a moment yesterday, and he did not disagree with me when I said you're going to be facing maybe the best guy across the entire National Football League in Aaron Donald. With him coming up the middle, you've got Xavier Su'a-Filo, a backup on the offensive line, and just a banged-up offensive line in general. Rick, I think your face just says it all.
You're scaring us all now. No, they've got 3 guys, three players on defense with 8 or more sacks. The Cowboys have 1. If you stop Donald, you still have Dante Fowler, you still have Clay Matthews.
Dante, 9, Clay Matthews, 8, Brockers, 3. They got 43 sacks. 40 of them has come from their defensive line or either their front 7. Only a safety in the corner got the other 2. So this is what we strive to get on our defense. Their defense is doing it with Wade Phillips. They went out and got Jalen Ramsey, and he's tightening the screws every week.
Since they got Ramsey, in the 7 games since they got Ramsey, they've held 6 opponents to a single touchdown. There have been field goals, but a single touchdown. They're playing the type of Super Bowl defense that got them to the NFC title game last year.
All right, that's the matchup preview for you. It's going to be a tough one for the Cowboys this Sunday. We'll wrap it up for you right here on Special Edition next with 4 Downs.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special Edition, presented by AT&T, was brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
Win or lose, the Cowboys have a wonderful tradition that they love doing each year in the holiday season. They head out across the DFW Metroplex to 4 different hospitals. Players all show up and just make smiles on everyone's faces, giving them tons of gifts. One fella, it was even his birthday, so they had a little birthday party in the hospital. And I will tell you, just saw Ezekiel Elliott. One little guy said, "Zeke, my favorite team is the Rams, and they're probably going to win Sunday."
Oh, no.
That's exactly what Zeke's response was. Cannot believe it. Love the boldness there. Here we go with 4 downs, though, fellas. First one, did we overrate the Cowboys coming into this year?
Evidently, 6 and 7 tells the story on us. So, but they can write that. They can write that starting this week with the Rams.
Yeah, I thought they'd be 6-1 at the bye, and they're 4-3, and that kind of raised my eyebrows. Maybe not what I thought.
Second down, true or false, Jeff Heath has truly been missed.
Yes, he has. This is a guy that comes up, does what he has to do, and over the years became a better and better player. We miss him sorely right now.
Yeah, very underappreciated guy. He was a thumper. He was a guy who set a tone for the defense, and right now they're missing that thumper.
Third down, would you reshuffle the 2016 draft class with Goff, Wentz, and Dak Prescott?
No, I wouldn't. Because right about now, everybody will be a little disappointed in Dak as a first-round pick. No, sir. Right where he's at, feeling good.
Now, based on production, you got to go Goff, Prescott, Wentz, and then Jacoby Brissett.
Here we go. Fourth down. Give me your gut feeling and your score prediction for Sunday. Cowboys-Rams 3:30.
I think the Cowboys got to do everything they can. I mean, whether it's trick plays, whatever, get down low and dirty and win this thing by 1.
Rams are hot, Cowboys are not. I'd say Rams 27-13.
All right, there you have it. Rick, Nate, I'm Lindsay Draper. Bill Jones will be back next week. Thanks for tuning in to Special Edition. Enjoy Cowboys-Rams Sunday at 3:30. See you next week.